Today, we're going to be talking about how to tune in to your weight loss machine. And I'm going to explain to you exactly what I mean by that and how you can actually notice when you are out of tune and how to tune back in precisely so that you can begin to get the results that you desire and, most importantly, that you deserve. I know, ladies, that for those of us who have struggled for a really long time, whether it's been years or decades with our weight and with food and with dieting and all of that stuff, it can kind of be hard to believe that we really deserve, that it's even really possible to live at a weight that we feel comfortable with and to have a good, pretty neutral relationship with food. But I'm going to tell you that it is absolutely possible. And one of the things that we got to do is we got to rewire the brain. We got to rewire the body as well. It's not just one or the other, it is both. And when we do both, our body stops screaming at us to like, feed it, feed me, feed me. And then the brain begins to calm down too. And when the brain calms down and we tune into the right frequency of health and vitality and weight loss and energy and neutrality around food and feeling really good in our bodies, then it becomes easy. It's not this like fight and struggle and all of that drama. Okay, so the way that I'm going to help you understand it and really explain it today is I'm going to make an analogy to a radio. Now, this is like one of those cool radios from back in the day. You remember those were like they had the knob and you could kind of see it in the little red line. As you turned the knob, it would kind of like move from different stations. And what's really cool about a radio is that we all know kind of how a radio works, right? Maybe not totally, but the idea is that, and it's crazy to even think about it, that there's all of this like music, there's all of this frequency, like different stations are being broadcast and are in this room right here, right now. I can't actually hear them, although they exist. We know that they exist because when we grab something that can tune into the frequency, like a radio, and we move the dial, we can hear different stations. If I wanted to hear rap, I'd go down to one station. And then if I was like, that's not really my style, I want to hear some country, I'd turn the dial over to another station and I would immediately be tapping into country. And that is actually how our brain works as well, which is wild. And it kind of makes sense when we begin to hear and like remember people saying, hey, all the love is available to you. All of the power that you need, all of the love, all of the attention, all of the health and the vitality, the clear thinking, like all of that is available. It all exists. You just got to tune into it. So one of the things though that I think is really important when we're kind of playing with this analogy is to understand what are the things that kind of bump the knob. And you know what I'm talking about, right? When you bump the knob, what happens? You're like, you perfectly tune it to the station that you want to listen to. And then if somebody walks by and bumps it, what happens? It goes to this static, or there's like two different ones trying to come in. So you got this like country rap static thing going on, and it's unpleasant. It's not awesome. Well, that is actually one of the things that happen for a lot of us when we eat and think and drink and do certain things that don't really work for us. It throws us off balance. It throws us off of our actual station that we want to be on. And it doesn't feel good. It doesn't sound good. And we don't like it. And we feel like we don't really have access to what it is that we want, the energy and the vitality, the positive thoughts, the feeling neutral around food, but also feeding our body well. And so for everyone, it's going to be a little bit different, but there are some things that I have found that are pretty consistent for those of us that struggle with our weight. There's pretty consistent things that bump that knob and make it so that we feel angry and frustrated and disappointment and end up kind of back in that yo-yo cycle, looking to food to kind of soothe it. Because quite frankly, if you've been turning to food for comfort or to, forget about this or for a celebration or for whatever the reason is, we go back to kind of eating in a way that doesn't work for our body. And you know that it doesn't work for your body because you hear the static, right? You hear the brain going off, the body doesn't feel well. You maybe feel tired, lethargic, you got cravings, you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, all of these things. You're not sleeping well at night. Your body doesn't feel good. You've got different kinds of dis-eases. Maybe you're on some medication, maybe even depression, anxiety. The list goes on. The list goes on and on, right? When we are out of balance, it's like it's just a bunch of static and it doesn't, like, life isn't awesome. You're not tuning into the vitality and the awesomeness of life. So some of those things could be skipping meals, right? And there's a lot of reasons, seemingly good reasons, to skip meals, but it doesn't actually work for most of us. Another one is waiting until you're hungry to figure out what you're going to eat. You might get some static, because I know for me, if I'm hungry, tired, something happened in my day and I have no idea what I'm going to eat, I don't have anything already prepped and made, like, I'm just going to eat the thing that's the quickest there. Like, we're literally designed to do that, like to get food in if we're hungry. And if my willpower is low because life has happened, and then I choose something that, again, doesn't work for my body and sets me more off balance, and there's more static and more frustration and more disappointment, more like, F it, I'll start tomorrow. Well, it doesn't really work so well for us. If we are not drinking enough water, and so we really don't have the hydration that our body needs, if we're stressed out, so like our breathing is shallow, then we're not getting enough oxygen to the brain. If we're eating a bunch of sugar and flour and caffeine and overeating, like all of those things send our brain and our body out of whack. And then it becomes like everything is staticky and we don't feel like we have the resources that we need to get through the day. So understanding that is really good news, right? It's really good news, because sometimes life is going to throw us off of balance. But there's a beautiful saying talking about, when we feel like we're in a ditch, and it's like, oh man, it's like, no matter how far down the road I go, like, I'm only 2 feet from the ditch. I feel like I have to keep like such a tight rein, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to be on a diet or always dieting. I don't want someone to have to tell me what to do all the time. I don't want to struggle and be frustrated and irritated, with my body and with my weight. Like, like, I just want this to go. And I feel like if I do anything wrong, like, I'm in the ditch. And I totally know that feeling, first of all. Secondly, there was something else that someone added on to that, because I've heard that saying for many decades now. Someone added on, they're like, you know what? It doesn't matter how long you've been in the ditch. It doesn't matter how long you've been hearing the static and you're frustrated. You're only 2 feet from the road. Right? Like, the journey you have to travel to get back on track, to get that kind of food neutrality where you're feeling good in your body, is just a little bit to the left. It's not this huge monumental thing that sometimes we really think that it is, especially if we've been in the ditch for quite a while. And there's a lot of emotion attached to that, and a lot of memories attached to it, that with some help and with some clear guidance, we can tune in to the frequency that is always there. Like, the love and the support and the guidance and the neutrality and the freedom that you're looking for is there. It's just a little turn away. It's just 2 feet up the ditch. So I know for me, I love to have support around this, because left to my own devices, I'm running around doing life. I'm doing stuff, and sometimes I forget and I bump the knob and I bump the knob and I bump the knob, and having someone to chat with and to talk to, in a community like this, and some guidance and some support, and really being honest with myself about what are the things that bump the knob and send me back in static. Am I not eating enough? Am I not eating the right foods? Do I actually need some mental and emotional support and accountability with somebody else? Do I need to drink more water? Do I need to exercise a little bit more because I'm not taking any deep breaths? Do I need to do some yoga? Do I need to have some kind of support and help? Do I maybe there's foods in my diet that don't work for me, that send me off? Yeah. Maybe it's caffeine or sugar or flour or all of the above. Am I snacking all day long and never really allowing my body the opportunity that it needs to rest and digest? Right? I mean, that's why intermittent fasting is so huge right now, because it's like for the first time, we're actually learning how important it is to have space in between meals. This whole snack all day long does not work for most people. So I love you so much. I hope that this helps shed a little bit of light on possibly what is going on for you and how to begin to rewire your brain, because it's all here for you. It's just about tuning in to the frequency that's going to allow you to receive all of the guidance and all of the love and all of the clarity and all of the peace of mind and all of the sanity and serenity that you deserve around your body and around food. It's just little twist. If what the things that are bumping you off, you probably already know them. Quite frankly, if you don't know, schedule a consultation with me and I will help you understand and decide how to notice what are the things that are blocking you. I love you so much, and I will talk to you soon. So leave me a comment,